Dr. Christenson, I would like to talk to you about stress. You talked about back pain and actually how stress can cause it and stuff like that. So let's talk about, some people really feel stressed out, and for all purpose, and I think that's the definition of stress, in my opinion at least, I don't know what Webster says about it, is stress means just to me being overwhelmed. In a person's mind, he has just one too many actions, or he has no solution for an action, or he is torn between two solutions and cannot make up his mind of what to do. Now, and that causes physical pain also. But let's at this moment just talk about the basic stress pain. What can you do for a person there, if at all?
Well, when people come in feeling overwhelmed and lost of direction, what we do is we show them, first of all, we do the relaxation technique. And once you're relaxed, and we can give them a guided imagery, we have people lie down, or they can sit as relaxed. You're actually conscious relaxed, meaning think about your neck, think about your shoulder, think about your arm. I just point to every part of the body and make sure that you are focused, and then relax. So when you bring the person into that level, then we can suggest them, they can visualize they're in a different place. I bring them to a beautiful beach. Nobody ever been. It's like an imaginary beach. You can bring them to a garden behind it and let them just say hello to the water, say hello to the sky, in touch with the nature. And just forget about all those.
Without really being there, probably being in your environment in your office. By the way, I have seen some pictures of your office and stuff. It seems to be just a very wonderful environment, but that for later. Let me ask you. So basically what you're saying, and I personally am a believer in what you're saying here, and my unconsciously have done it a long time and also have studied some about it in that way. But so basically what you say, what you can imagine can eventually become true. So the person lays there imagining being peaceful, and next thing you know is the peacefulness is just overcoming him, because that's really him as a spirit, as a whatever you want to call that.
Right.
And he actually, so if you imagine, because some people say, some business people, some very, very successful business people have lots of books out there. They say if you cannot imagine what you want, and if you cannot imagine how you go about getting what you want, you'll never get it. And that seems to be a similar technique you are applying here.
Exactly. If you go to the restaurant, you just sit down and say, I want food. What do you get? The waiter is not giving you food. They say, what kind of food do you want? I want pasta. What kind of pasta? They give it precise description. Then you get your plate of what you want, right? The same thing. And you ask God to give you something. What do you want? I don't know. Then go think about it until call me back when you figure out what you want. You say, okay, I want my business today. I want this done. I want this done. You go very precise. Make a list. You probably will get it. And you imagine that you're having it. And the universe will honor you that request, will give it to you because you're very clear and you know what you want. A lot of people don't know what they want. They don't even know who they are. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people are so stressed, they don't really know what they love.
They actually think they are a plumber, a carpenter, or a financial advisor. They actually think they're the identity of their job. Which they're not.
No. It's not the same thing as your career.
Right.
Who you are is not the same.
No.
Well, a lot of people think, but you are a spiritual being. And what's your mission coming in? You're helping people. You love people. Do you love yourself? A lot of time people cannot answer the question, do you love yourself? Oh, of course I love yourself. But if you love yourself, why do you eat this garbage stuff you're eating? You don't love yourself. You eat all this crap stuff. You know what I mean? You don't really, yes, I do that. But if you love yourself, let's eat healthy food. You feed yourself such a crap, you're not going to get healthy. Okay, number one step. let's go back. Why didn't you help? Why didn't you love yourself? We'll go back to the childhood. There's a lot of abuse issues. There was a lot of unloved issues surfacing when you get into that deep. And I would say most of us don't know how to be parents because we just don't know why you were born. You are here, so I have to feed you, and then I'm not happy because I still have so much problems. So you can't really love your child because you don't even love yourself. So this from generation handed down to generation, and most of us just been born, just here, and not properly loved.
Okay, so Dr. Christian, let me interrupt you. So let's assume things like that happen. Most of us probably do a very high degree deny that. We say, oh, no, we were okay, my parents weren't abusive and all that, and that's all fine. And as you said, we say, oh, sure, of course we love ourselves, blah, blah, blah. And then you, as you kind of say, yeah, then why are you watching TV till 4 o'clock in the morning and eat pizza and all that stuff? Anyway, what you're saying is, even though you might have some incidences which probably unknowingly, and you correct me if I'm wrong here, unknowingly suppress you now. You don't even know them. You don't think of them. So you kind of go, no, I'm fine. It must be my back. It's the financial problems I now have. Well, they might contribute to it, but it looks like that you're saying that the reason you feel depressed about the current financial problem or the overload of work or the bleak future is not because of it alone, but because you're kind of like backing in hundreds or maybe even thousands of similar incidents from the past, and they all look the same now. It looks so much larger. It isn't just the one thing in front of you. You really, without knowing, look at hundreds or thousands of previous slightly similar unhappinesses, and you all pull them up in one, basically another stack flow, it looks to me.
It's an explosion, an overwhelm, yeah? It was surfacing, and little things accumulate, and therefore we learn how to clear that. We have a technique. We go back step by step. There's an acupressure technique. We can learn where the pressure point to touch, and then we would do affirmation and clear that slowly, and you do it for whichever you need, and it will clear it, and you're much able to distress yourself when we cannot prevent car accident. We cannot prevent Mother Earth, the shook on us, the tsunami and the earthquake. We cannot prevent that, but when you are encountered that situation, you are able to be grounded and be ready to either rescue or be rescued. You have the action rather than just totally disabled.
Great.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So, and what you're 100% saying here is, correct me, is thought over matter. Basically, your thinking is literally more important than the mechanical thing. It's like you actually think yourself happy, successful, and it will happen much, much more easy than robotically doing mechanical action. Is there some truth to that?
There's some truth in that, but it depends on the situation. If somebody is mechanically blocked, you may have to unblock, like fractures, stuff like that. You have to mechanically do it. But when you do your own thought process, your mind healing, your soul healing, that helps the healing process.
Right.
Because those who are doing that for you from the outside can only do certain amount. But you have that 24 hours a day. You own that body. You can do a lot more through the thought process, through your mind training and all that kind of stuff. That is the healing process. It's very essential, and we teach you how to do that.
Yeah. So you give new meaning to the word. The patient must participate in his health.
They are my partner. I am not the only one. I cannot be the only one. Because you own the body. Yeah,
and I do think that is a major problem with the Western medicine. We go to the doctor and say, "Fix me," and it just doesn't work all that well. It
Yeah,
works.
I hear that all
I
the
want,
time.
as I said, I want to have a good surgeon if a car runs me over, no doubt about it. But short of those type of things, you've got to participate very, very heavy. And we know even if a car runs you over, if you afterwards don't try to push your muscles and do physical therapy, you'll probably be in bed and in a wheelchair all your life. Where otherwise, some people who are so to say strong-minded, with maybe the help of some professionals like you to know what and how to go about to become strong-minded, they all of a sudden are walking again.
And one of the old saying is that everything happened for a good reason. Be in a car accident or being sick, being kind of whatever illness, it's the reason. It's kind of, if you are believing God, you say God's call, or you can say nature's call, because call you to be aware that your body needs help. And it's a gift. Even though it's painful, but it's a painful gift that you awakening you to learn new things, to learn to how to improve, and so on and so forth. So I always tell my patient that do not hate your disease. Embrace it. Love your cancer cell. Love your painful knee. That's very difficult, but if you start saying, my dear knee, I love you so much, please, you have a power to heal yourself, and then you will say that to the knee rather than, I hate this, oh my God, I hate today, get up in the morning and start cursing. That's just going to make everything block even more. When you start bringing the love, will melt all the blockages.
Well, there are two words to it, Number one, admiration is probably the most universal cure of anything. Anything you admire, and at the same time, anything you shun will one way or the other way come to get you. Well, again, extremely enlightening, probably not always a very easy process, and I can see why people do need help for it. I have had the fortune that actually, I have had some help in the type of direction, but talking to you, I think my Hawaii vacation is going to be coming just a little bit closer than I originally planned it, because I didn't plan it, but now I start thinking about it. Thank you very much, Dr. Christenson.